Hey, Drew. Good morning.
Hey, top of the morning to you. How you doing?
Good, except for I just realized I pulled you out of the Seahawks game. Is that sacrilegious?
Ah, no, 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 no. It's really good because we're talking about energy anyways, and the fact that we're winning is giving me good energy.
That's true. There's lots of energy going on that field. We
Yeah,
as a family we left church and stopped by Buffalo Wild Wings, and we're chomping down
yeah,
some wings and some hamburgers, and until I needed to get home real quick and have this nice call with you. So
yeah.
here.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Well, I'm not having that, man, but I'm
Yeah.
feeling for you right now. That must be real. I can't wait to come help you with that.
I know. I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. We're going to talk about energy part three. And to get a perspective. And I want to do a little bit of recapping so we can kind of let people know a little bit of the ground we've covered, some of your ideas that you put out there. You sent me a really good email helping me to remember exactly where we were in our conversation. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's been on your mind this week regarding energy and what kind of stuff we can get put together for some people to take and apply into their own lives.
Yeah. So I think it is part three for you and I, but I think we've only posted one energy video so far. So really, it's sort of part two, just
Well, I
because
thought you posted that one last week.
I did, but
No.
that was sort of our first one, right? 2 weeks ago we had it, but we had such a bad connection, I didn't post it. So last week was the redo. That
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that I think that's part one.
Got
This
it.
this will be part two. But yeah, last week we had a pretty good talk. We got through, what I thought was the key three things for energy.
Yeah.
Fundamentals. Eat, move, sleep, and meditate. Then I talked about rest and recovery, or I'm sorry, rest and reflection. R2, I was calling it, and then inspiration. And I think you had just gone through talking about the importance of the inspiration you received from some of those, old hats that were running you through the grinder when you first went into prison. And but
Yeah.
they were making you to take control of your life and make the best out of it, even though the
Yeah.
situation you're in. And I think that was really great. And so we talked about the importance of being around other people, because that's what's gonna, you will rise to the challenge of the people that you're around. And I think that's why I was attracted to wrestling, because it was people that were ready and willing to get in the arena of life and go toe to toe to see what you're made of. But that's also what attracted me to go to West Point, attracted me to apply for special forces, attracted me to go to Ranger School, attracted me to become a combat diver. Which is like it's like a SEAL qualified Army guy.
Yeah.
So all, and then to go to the best planning course in the military. It's called the School of Advanced Military Studies. So it's I always wanted to be around that next level of people. To up the ante on what I can be, to be the best person I can be. But it also enables me to serve at a higher level, right? To be more impactful.
Yeah.
So we hit
Yeah.
that, and then I think right when we got cut off, I was talking about the importance of meditation, and that you need that to get to release the stress that you have in your body and your mind, because you need to have a peace of mind. You need to recover. You need if you don't clean out your head, if you don't step away from the stress, let your body recover, then you'll crash. And I've done that myself as well, when I was training too hard and not recovering enough or resting enough. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's where we're at. So what do you think about those ideas?
Well, obviously, I love all those ideas. There's this old kind of poetic parable that says two prisoners stood staring out their bars. One saw mud, and the other saw stars. Did you catch that?
Yep, yep.
Yeah, and it really just highlights that you'll have a level of energy in life depending on what do you see. There are people that come into the system and all they see is they're lacking their freedom. And I get it. because 22 years ago I felt the same way. But then you have to have a paradigm shift where you not only, you're aware of what you're lacking, but you have to be aware of the possibilities. You have to be aware of the opportunities that are still existing in your life. And then based upon those opportunities, you have to take care of yourself so that you have the ability and the wherewithal to start pursuing them. Because being aware of an opportunity doesn't give you the benefits of that opportunity. Being aware is the beginning. That's the starting line. But pursuing that opportunity is where you find the change in your life. So, this week, some things that were really impacting me as I was thinking about, and this is a little bit of highlighting a little bit of what we talked about in the past, but, gratitude, acceptance, and hope. And these three things working together in my life and in my heart this week really helped give me the energy I needed. And so let me just say a little bit about gratitude. Not that we haven't talked about it, but gratitude is looking at my life and choosing to be aware of what's there. I actually wrote down a note that I'm grateful for the people and the opportunities that are in my life right now. I had to just kind of repeat that to myself at a few different moments throughout this week. Acceptance. Let me say something about acceptance. And now this ties into the experience context thing, because I said, you have to set goals in life, but you have to have the experiences that your goals are aiming you at. And then you have to have context. So I can know whether or not that I'm having the right experience, that that was enough, satisfying. But this thing of acceptance is there's some things in life that you're never going to go back and fix. And that's never more apparent than in a prisoner's life. But sometimes you have to have a certain piece about not only the joy that we've experienced, but also the pains. And know that these two things intertwined together has helped make you who we are today. But coming to a place of saying, I fixed everything I can fix, and I'm just in a place of acceptance about that, and I'm ready to move forward. And then the other one is hope. I live with a joy that is fueled by hope that the dreams that I'm having can and will become a reality. So these three things has given me energy today. And so that highlights a little bit about dreams, context, and then once again, just choosing to be grateful.
Yeah.
About that.
No, I think that's pretty good. A lot of that, I was talking, I said R2, right? I said fundamentals. I said R2, rest and reflection. And then I said inspiration, right? So to me, I highlighted the importance of rest, right? Because you need to have your brain and your body recover as you continue to push and navigate the struggles of life. But I think a lot of what you just said to me resonates with the word reflection, right? And you got to reflect on your life. You need to be, have gratitude for the things that have been great. You got to understand where you sit in the world, because everybody has been dealt a different hand in the game of life, like a poker hand.
Yeah.
And the trick is you need to see what opportunities are provided to you, what your hand is going to let you, play, and then make the best of playing that hand. But just have, be grateful for all the things that you have, but then make the best out of it, right? And continue in that journey of life, trying to advance yourself and those around you, towards having, fulfillment, joy, and love, and I think that's really what, every human aspires to. And so, but yeah, that reflection piece, right? And so everybody's going to be different, but having the goals, understanding what you've done before, learning from the past, that reflection, so to me, that reflection, captures some of those things that you were highlighting.
Reflection is the pivot. If you reflect the wrong way, you're just in a gross life.
Hey, say that. Hey, Drew, that was just a little garbled. Can you say that again?
Reflect the pivot point.
All right, wait 1 second.
Reflect.
Let me see what's going on here. All right. Um, yeah, try that again. It's all been perfect up until now, and then right when we got in this
Yeah,
reflection. All right, go.
I know. Right. Okay, so what I was saying is that reflection is a really good pivot point, and how you reflect will determine, you know, how you make progression there forward. If I reflect just on the mistakes that I've made, and then that's part of the problem is that people reflect the wrong way. You have to reflect constructively, in
Yeah,
which you're
yeah,
aware of, like, okay, this is where maybe my life, my relationship, my job, my upbringing kind of went astray, right? But it's brought me to the certain point, and I'm reflecting back on that, and a lot of times we're looking at the opportunities that were right in front of us, but we became blind to. And so going forward, if you reflect the right way, it's going to make you aware of what's still there, what's still in your life right now, what's
yeah.
still in your relationship, what opportunities are still before you.
Yep.
I read something in a book called Resilient. He was talking about this meditation. He said, stop and recognize that your heart is beating, that you're still breathing, that you're going on living, and just anything is possible in life. And I think a lot of times our modern day society kind of wires us to where, we just think negatively about things, and it prevents us from living our best life.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that. I think that reflection is really important because it needs to. You got to be challenging maybe your biased thinking, and maybe because a lot of times there might be doors there that you can't even see, but because you're just blinded to them, for whatever thinking habits you have in the past. And so a good point on that, and this is something that maybe I haven't done a good job with, is what type of mentor am I pursuing, or somebody that can give me that open honest feedback, to take me to the next
Yeah,
level, and to make sure I am on track to advancing and improving myself. So that's, yeah, reflection's a pretty big piece, right? And I like putting it together with rest, right? Because you need to step back, get out of the rat race, step off the treadmill, let your body recover, and then reflect and really gain an appreciation for where you're at and where you can go. And I like your thinking about that. It's not just being aware of the opportunity, but then it's deciding to do something about it. And then there's a big aspect of, you got to invest tons of energy and effort into what you want, and then that is the most important factor that'll result in success, is going all in on it. There's another book out there, I think by Grant Cardone, called 10x, and it's all about being all in, and do, especially in competitive environment, do 10 times the amount of work that whoever you're competing against does, and you will end up being on top, whether it's sales, whether it's football, whether it's wrestling. That's how you're going to get to excellence, is by that huge
yeah,
investment. So
yeah. No, that's good. And to kind of say something about context and expectations. So you said we were talking about reflection, but about the rest aspect. And if you don't have proper context, you'll never let yourself rest.
yep,
If you don't balance your expectations, you'll never let yourself rest. And
yep,
if you don't rest, you're never going to re-energize to be successful in that next thing you're going to do, whether that's that next workout,
yep,
how you're pursuing your marriage, your relationship, different things you have in your life. And so I think, setting things in context is really important to live in a fulfilled life. I was reading that book, Transcend, by Barry Kaufman, and he was talking about these people that live, I think, on the island of Ikaria. It's in the Aegean Sea off the coast of Greece, and it's considered a blue zone. And a blue zone is where people commonly live to 100 years or more of age. And he was talking about the different factors of why these people live so long. Why do people in America die so early, and yet people over there live so long?
Yeah.
It's because we filled our life with so much, I gotta go, I get me, not we. And, we have poor diets, too much stress, all these kind of things, and we die prematurely. And there's these people over here, they have less social media, less fast food. But the key is their their face-to-face interactions.
Yep.
Their how they are as a community. And we're talking about energy. And one thing I want to throw out there is, what kind of community are you a part of?
Yep.
That's a big thing. And I told you that when I first came to prison, and I was 20 years old, I was so blessed. There's so many different prisons I could have went to in the state, and I did initially. But the one I ended up landing at, it's maximum security, closed custody, was a really good community. I had a really good community of lifers that really fostered the right perspectives and outlooks. And it's because they had decades of proper reflection. They had lived with remorse, and they were also goal-oriented thinking people. So, they were constantly driving me to the hobby shop. That's how I got into woodworking years ago. All that stuff that I've been able to build you over the years, dude, they drug me in there.
Yep.
Sometimes against my will.
Yeah.
Forced a sander into my hands, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Gave me a strong cup of coffee and a bunch of hard candy and made me sand for hours. But I learned how to start gaining purpose.
Yeah.
How to put purpose into my days. And so goal-oriented thinking, experience, context is an important thing for that R2, that rested reflection that you had talked about.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really like that. And, that's something that we need to think about with the whole Shears triangle, Shears pyramid, whatever we're calling it. Where is the goals aspect? Or does that need to become a foundation to the pyramid? That, hey, you got to have some of these other things in consideration. And what are your goals? And you need to be humble. Hey, you have a maximum capacity. You got to be humble with that, and you got to just recognize your limitations, but then make the best out of them. And this from working out, right? You can do a huge workout one day, but next day you're going to be sore, and it's like you push your body up, and then you tear down the muscles, and then you actually go down in a dip, but you got to let yourself heal, and you'll come back at a higher level next time. And the same thing goes with your brain. When you stretch your brain out, you can exhaust yourself working too hard on your brain. Was that a touchdown or something? When people cheering?
No, everybody just erupted back here, so I know Seattle scored. So
yeah,
all right, that's good energy right there.
Yeah, excellent. I heard my boys say,
Did you hear them back here?
Yeah, I heard them. I heard my boys downstairs too. We're
like 21 something now.
Yeah, we're Seahawks fans in Kansas City land, so it's a house divided. My wife's a Kansas City girl. Yeah. So
well, you guys got a big game today against the Browns.
Yep, that's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good game. But hey, let me say this really quick, man. I was reading that Eric Greitens book, Resilience, and he was talking about, you know what I mean, and check me if you have to, because you're the military guru here. But he was talking about when he was going through some sort of sniper training. He was talking about the natural point of aim. How you get into position, how you breathe, how when you look down your sights, this is your natural point of aim. And I really liked in the book how he was talking about our natural point of aim in life.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you a little bit about shooting, sniper stuff, whatever. A bullet can only travel so far. So you have to not only labor to get in position, you have to depending on the scenario, you have to disguise yourself. You know, you have to do all the things with adjusting for your sights. You know, humidity, man, I don't know, rotation of the earth, depending on how far you're firing. You know, but sometimes you also have to recognize the limitation of how far your rifle will even shoot, and you might have to get closer.
Yep.
So that I'm trying to interweave this into how do I, you know, you have to live a goal-oriented life. You have to have goal-oriented thinking. And a lot of times it's incremental.
Yeah.
Yes, it's long-term, but it's also incremental. It's a lot of short-term steps to get you, you know, it's just like, how do you do 27 years? Well, you do 27 years, but you also do a year at a time.
Yep.
You know, and even within a year, you know, I do seasons. You know, I don't count months. I'm not in my prison cell marking off days like the old cliche. You know, I'm getting to football season. Now we're in right now, or summer, and a lot, or you know, or sometimes you know it could be certain destinations, certain visits. You coming to see me. You know, so a lot of times getting a long distance, even in doing time, is just figuring out how do I maximize this next 3 months.
Yep. Yep.
You know, this next 6 months.
Yep.
So,
No, I like that. And I think a key thing to add on, you know, you're talking about shooting, and I heard this analogy with, you know, archers or, you know, shooting as well.
okay.
Especially there's a book with, you know, I think it's called With Winning in Mind. I can't remember the author, but he said it's all about the process. And so this guy was an Army marksman, and he ended up being like a gold medalist and a gold medal coach. He did some phenomenal winning in rifle competitions. But a lot of time when he was in the military, he wasn't able to actually practice shooting the bullets. So he would just practice visualizing and then going through the process. And he would do that every single day. It's about the process. You know, if you're going to, whether you're shooting a rifle like a sniper gun or whether you're trying to shoot a bow and arrow, you have to build the process. You have to calm the mind. You have to be aware of the breath. You have to time the breath with when you're going to pull the trigger or release the string. And your results are going to depend on how well you can make the process. So like you said, you break it down into seasons or into weeks or into days, and you try to build those masterpiece days where, you know, you're having an optimal amount of sleep, you're having a good diet, you know, you're getting your exercise in, or it's a rest day. And you know, and you keep on building, and then your ability to achieve excellence, that band of excellence of performance, will incrementally, you know, 1% over time, keep on getting higher and higher and higher, and then that makes you a better person, and that's what you are today, because you're around the right people and you've built yourself into, you know, super fit, smart, socially engaged, you know, well read, you know, person, despite the environment that you've been in. But you've made the right choices, you've done the work, you're surrounding yourself with the right people. Yeah. So here's a question back to you. So how do you deal with like nutrition in the prison, and how do you deal with your workouts? Yeah, because
we're getting into it now. Yeah, how do you have gratitude when you have to eat sometimes what we have to eat? Man, you know, that's tough, man. You know, it varies at different phases. You know, in different decades of me doing time, you know, we ate differently in prison than we do now. You know, they sell us more food now, which is the counterbalance to that, but then that takes money.
Yeah.
You know, and how do you get the money? And some people don't have the money.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I live with this monk right now. I tease him. I call him a monk, but he exists off oatmeal and milk. He's got everything scientifically mapped out to like complete proteins and, you know, beans and rice and you know, we kind of do like a military MRE approach. And you know, we have dudes in here that are amazing cooks with just a microwave. You'd be surprised the nachos and the burritos and the teriyaki food that these guys can spit out.
Yeah.
But so, you know, I mean, you eat everything they give you as much as possible, and depending on the output, that you're requiring your body, the type of workouts you're doing, you're trying to figure out, you know, what can I put back in the tank?
Yep. Yep.
And that's no different than when we talk about rest and reflection, because if you want a great output in your life, it's going to be dependent on what you're inputting into
Yep.
your life, and yeah,
What?
nutrition's a tough thing in here because we're always trying to balance it. I'm trying to eat beans and rice and buy a protein bar when I can, and but I'm more excited about what I'm going to eat when I come to Kansas with you.
Yeah. All right. Well, how about workouts? What is your favorite type of workout, and how are you doing that? Are you doing that with teams? Are you doing it by yourself? What?
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. So let me say something about this, and this ties into the last thing, is that you're right, man. A lot of people poured into my life. I wouldn't be a woodworker, a plumbing apprentice. I wouldn't be a preacher. Any of these things, if it wasn't given to me by God and by other people, and by God I mean through other people. But what gives my life purpose isn't the fact that people have poured into me. It's recognizing that it's my responsibility to pour into other people. Now I need to give back. I need to give what's been given to me, and that gives my life meaning. You can't be a hoarder. It's just like being a special forces soldier. One of the key things about you guys is that you train other soldiers in other countries to be able to fight and maintain American interests abroad. That you have the ability to shoot, move, and communicate better than most people, and you teach other people how to shoot, move, and communicate. And that's what people how to aim in my life in here, how to move my life around in here, and how to communicate. And that's one thing that I lacked, as a young man out there in society. And so the workouts that I love the best, man, I really like small team workouts where the positivity and the energy is high, the competition is high. It's weight training, but it's also an element of CrossFit and endurance
Yep.
mixed in there. And something where I mean we're all of us bringing ourselves to our very breaking point. And I've been a part of some great workout cars over the years, but that's probably my favorite thing right now. Probably about a 60-40 split, where about 60% I'm doing weights and 40% I want to do cross training.
Okay. No, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I've been working on doing workouts with my oldest boy lately, and sort
Yeah.
of that similar, rotating on a cycle, aerobic machine, but then also interspersed
Yeah.
with a series of reps. So, anyways, I think,
Oh, dude, we're 10 deep.
yeah, it has been a great
And
talk to highlight energy.
yeah, it has. It has. It has.